So this is the beginning of the, I don't want to call it evolution, but the beginning of me starting to create, modified solutions of the hand crank reel for pressure washing. I want to come up with different colors, different swivel options, and then one of the problems a follower was able to solve was the mounting deficiencies of the hand crank reel, which functions so well for pressure washing. So one of the issues, I'm going to open the box here and show you, one, how it comes in a box, and then secondly, one of the deficiencies is that the stud length, or the length of the mounting positions, I should say, are 12 inches on center. And so if you have 16-inch studs, you have to cut your wall, put bracing in, or put some piece of plywood on the wall. It's just not an ideal solution if you want it to be super clean, and maybe you already have water there and you don't want to cut a hole in the wall. So these are generally packaged pretty darn well. So it's a little difficult to open it up without me completely ruining this. So let's do this as efficiently as we can here. So if you're not familiar with the story, it seems that Cox hose reels have kind of become the standard in the detailing pressure washing world. I wonder how that happened, Bryce. How do you think that happened? Some guy must have found them at SEMA and started talking about it. And then now all of a sudden, everybody knew about Cox hose reels. Yeah, I knew about that. Did you know about that? Luckily, I'm obsessed, and so I found them, and it's not like they didn't exist, but it's certainly something I didn't know about, and I'm guessing many of you didn't either, but now we know that these hose reels exist. And one of the big differences, these are American made, is the barrels are rolled. And so, first of all, they're using a little heftier gauge steel. I was looking at some other companies and thought I was just going to have to resign myself to using some cheap imported version. And so these, oh wow, they've actually, this is different. They've changed and the recess. Yeah, you see that? I didn't even know they did that. That's a new thing because we were having issues with this. Was the inlet or the outlet, I guess, of the swivel was flush, and so now they've spaced it out so that way the powder coating can't get in there, and they can just cap this off when they're powder coating. So anyway, one of the deficiencies of the hose reel for home use, again, these are all industrial based. Most of the time you're going to mount it in an industrial environment. You're going to mount it to some unistrut or a block wall or something like that. But in home use, we have drywall and studs. They're usually 16 inches on center. And so the distance from hole to hole, I believe, is 12. I don't even think it's that much. No, it's 5 and 5.5. The base is 9.5. Where the heck did I get 12 from? Anyway, that's one of the deficiencies of trying to mount this sucker. So if you're mounting it to a piece of metal or a piece of block, it wouldn't matter. You just take the reel and you blow some holes and mount it. But if you're mounting it to drywall, we don't really have a choice. And so one of my very handy followers made us these brackets. There's a little, I don't know if you can see that on camera, but there's a little OG hex there. Full, I believe we made them out of T304 stainless. They're going to come with some stainless lags as well. And then notice these I forget what these are called, but yeah, these, what'd you say?
Riv nuts, like rivet nut.
I got it. Yeah, you're right. The rib nut that accepts a, I don't think this is 1/4-20, but accepts a stainless bolt, right, with stainless washer. So it's going to come like you see here. And then I had to make it so that we had a little bit of play here, so we can go from, I believe, 17.25. So your extreme, yeah, would be 17. Let's say 17, and right at 1/4, it's like 17 3/16 is the maximum width, and then the minimum width is 14 3/4. And so you can see you'll have some play to, like if your studs weren't perfectly on center, you'll have to have the ability to have a little bit of play. And made it super stout so that when it's bolted down and lagged to the wall, that you're not going to have any wobble or shakiness. And so essentially what you're going to do is you're going to mount your plate to the wall, and then you're going to take your hose reel, which will fit right on the riv nuts, that word that Bryce just made up. And then you're going to simply bolt the hose reel directly to our bracket. So I'm going to use this when I come over here on this side of HQ and move our pressure washing system. We're going to mount it on this side, and it's designed so that you should be able to mount it flush with the top and bottom. It's the exact same width as the base of the hose reel, and we end up with a awesome little stainless bracket that matches the same. It's the same brushed finish as our stainless shelf, and we end up with a really solid mounting solution for your Cox reel, like this. So you can see how it would be set up, and then we'd be able to grab our studs on the wall. So obviously you'd mount the bracket first, then mount the hose reel, and we end up with a really solid solution with a little OG hex over here in the corner. Pretty slick. So again, these are all, machined but made in the U.S. and essentially handmade, if you will. And what are they? 80 bucks? 90 bucks. 90 bucks is what it cost for this. So anyway, stay tuned for some more Cox options. I mean, if you were going to build a custom install solution, I don't know that I would wait. I'm going to be several months out from creating some modified versions of this. For instance, if we come out with a new swivel, a new higher end swivel, you could very easily swap that out in the future. I'm looking into Mosmatic, some stainless options. There's nothing wrong with this swivel, but hey, if we can make it better, why not? And then we'll probably, I guess the reason to wait would be we're going to be stocking and coming out with some different colors, gray and black likely. I've got to draw the line somewhere because we have to stock these things, and they take a lot of time to make, take a lot of time to get. A lot of these, Cox reels are now, kind of all over the place online and much easier to find than they were when I was searching for them. Most of these places don't stock them. And so they're going to drop ship them there and pretend like they have it in stock, and then then you get on a 4-week waiting list while they place a drop ship order. So don't get fooled by that. You also don't want to get the wrong one. But this is a 100-foot. This will hold 100 feet of 3/8 inch hose. We also put the 50-foot and 75-foot Cobra Jet hoses on this as well. It has some drag on it, but this is a very simple but very stout solution for pressure washing. I don't like to do spring-loaded reels for pressure washing because it's just so much harder to manage. So like we have our OG version of the custom Easy PLP 350 with a different spring in it to accept the Prevost hose that's a little bit heavier. Those reels are just, even as good as they are, it's still hard to manage an air hose, let alone trying to manage a single wire or 2-wire. Not as pliable pressure washing hose. So I would suggest this is the reel. I've tried half a dozen of them for when I was designing a pressure washing solution for my garage. I didn't think I'd ever be able to provide a solution of the custom install solution that we now provide. We sell 2-3 of them a day, something like that, something pretty incredible. So anyway, this will make your install a little bit easier. The stainless shelf you can mount at it's 16, 17 inches, 18 inches wide, or narrower if need to. Now you have the option to go 14 to 17 or 14 3/4 to 17 1/4, so you have some leeway to mount this as well. So if you're lucky, you might not have to cut holes in the wall or make some adjustments. If you're doing a block wall or something, I don't know that I'd spend the extra 90 bucks on this bracket unless you just wanted to look clean and match. The goal long term would be to make one big giant bracket where the pressure washer sits on it, the hose reel sits on it, the deionizer mounts to it, and so someday we may come up with that solution as well and just put it on a pallet and ship it out to you. Anyway, thanks for watching. OG Solutions, going to keep chasing, going to keep coming up with stuff. Both ideas I have. This wasn't my idea. This was an idea of Andrew, a follower. So thanks to him for coming up with this and making me do it. So anyway, thanks for watching. As always, stay tuned for more crazy, more solutions like this coming.